That's definitely the hardest one to pick. I think the most interesting one, it's honestly probably like the main event at this point, is the 3-point contest, guys. Um, this one is, first of all, Peyton Pritchard, you got snubbed. I don't know if they asked him. I saw he was asked about it. I didn't watch the whole interview. You got some good shooters competing this year. Obviously, the classic Damian Lillard is going to be there alongside Norman Powell. Guys, Norman Powell's averaging 24 points per game this year. Talk about an all-star snub. Tyler Hero, he's an all-star. Buddy Hield, Cam Johnson, Darius Garland, Cade Cunningham. Jalen Brunson's in there. I thought it was a little weird. I didn't necessarily think of Jalen Brunson as a 3-point shooter alongside Cade Cunningham, but they're in there. They're there. They're big names. I'm all for it. That's fine. Guys, now this one I'm gonna leave up for a little bit. I'm gonna think about this one. This one is gonna be good because obviously you have Damian Lillard, right? Who he shows up he wants to win this thing every year. I believe he won it last year, if I'm not mistaken, or the year before that. So this one, if Trae Young's my go-to guy. Anytime Trae Young's in, I'm like, okay, Trae Young's gonna win. He's not in there this year, so I'm having a tough time kind of picking. But for me, I gotta go. I think I have to go with Buddy Hield. He's the hometown guy. He's a sharpshooter. Yeah, I think he's gonna want it. And if the hometown factor is just big for me here, I think Dame could easily come out, be a flamethrower like he normally is, and walk away with this. I like Tyler Hero in this as well. But I gotta go Buddy. I don't think Buddy's ever won one, and he's too good of a shooter. I think if he gets hot, he can hit the long range too. I'm gonna go Buddy. I think I feel comfortable with Buddy.
I would probably have to. I feel like my prediction is I think it's gonna be someone who's not going to be expected. I think that it's gonna be like a Norman Powell or someone who's really trying to make a name for themselves during this competition this year. This list is. I feel like there's a lot of players who are a lot more poised for this competition, and a lot of people who are kind of trained for this position. There's obviously a difference in 3-point shooting compared from in game to in a 3-point shooting contest. So obviously 2 different ball games when it comes down to it. I think that Buddy Hield will make a good push for it. I think that this is one of his competitions that he is much more well suited for. Cade Cunningham, I want to continue to ride his narrative throughout this season. I think that he has really made a name for himself going through this year, being on the Detroit Pistons, who a lot of teams have counted out over just due to the history that the Detroit Pistons have. They've really rebuilt themselves, really have created a better team, putting veterans around him, being able to bring in the rookies and having them finally develop into the players that they've wanted to become. I think this is a great opportunity for the Cade Cunningham to get some limelight and be able to shine on the big stage. So I'm taking the biggest underdog. I have the
You're taking Cade?
I have the he's at 1,400 betting line. Plus 1,400.
I'm sorry. I think he is gonna get. Oh no. But hey, I can respect the underdog pick. I think Cade's gonna put up a stinker. I mean, he's got. I don't know. We'll see.
It's so hard to say this.
No disrespect to Cade. No disrespect.
It's so hard to say this during All-Star Weekend because we've seen the underdogs in the past come up with the wins because how these odds are priced, it's like this is a one-time event once a year, and it's so hard to price those things. But I will go off a point that Franco made is that some guys are more built for this type of competition than others. See, guys are more spot-up shooters than, say, off the dribble shooters. They are more catch and shoot guys. And I think that I in this tournament, in this particular contest, I shouldn't say we should get off tournaments because this one not quite a tournament here. Finally have a normal traditional contest that we're talking about. This contest, I think, just brings out the best in the most pure shooters. So the three guys that I look at are ultimately Cam Johnson, I look at Damian Lillard, and I'm looking at Buddy Hield. Those are the three guys I'm really looking at. And my mind just keeps coming back on Damian Lillard because I think if we look at the entire contest, I really do believe Damian Lillard, he's put up the most 3-point shots or most shots out of any of these players in his entire career, his entire basketball tenure as a player, whether, that's coming in college or I'm not even talking about in game. I'm just talking about in the gym, being in the gym, shooting the basketball. I think Damian Lillard, his work ethic is really unmatched, especially from a shooting perspective. I was a little torn on Cam Johnson or Buddy Hield. I actually think Buddy Hield, he might have won one. I think he won the 2020
Did he?
3-point contest.
Okay.
So I remember that one. It was like it came down to like the final ball. It was like, oh, if he makes this or misses this, he's gonna lose or win. But so Buddy Hield definitely has a history there. But I would have to go with Damian Lillard because Damian Lillard to me is just a straight killer. He is somebody that I believe just has taken the most shots in the gym out of all these guys, which is crazy to say because these are all great 3-point shooters. But I really do believe Damian Lillard, he's the most crafted shooter out of anybody in this competition. And I do believe those three players that I mentioned at the top, they're actually more built for this contest than, say, somebody like Cade Cunningham or Jalen Brunson, where to me their shooting comes a lot more off the dribble, comes more in situations where, like, this is actually, I will say, it's a different shooting situation than any in-game shooting situation because they're grabbing a ball off the rack and then shooting it. That's why I think it just breeds the best pure shooters where you can, if you're just a pure shooter, it doesn't matter how if you're catching it, you're spotting up off the dribble, whatever you're doing, you should just be able to shoot the ball, which I believe some players, when they enter this contest, they sometimes, if they're not the best pure shooters and they're more used to, shooting off the catch or shooting off the dribble, one or the other, it kind of messes with their rhythm, messes with their flow, messes with their jump shot in this contest. So I'm just going to go with the purest of the shooters here, and I'm going to go with Damian Lillard. But it's always a hard one to pick the 3-point contest because there are always so many good candidates, and there are always those. I always believe there's at least 3 or 4 just absolute pure shooters at the top, and then the rest are kind of the Jalen Brunsons, the Cade Cunninghams, Tyler Hero. I would even say he's more of an off the dribble shooter. At that, so it's like those guys. I'm more looking at going, okay, they're great 3-point shooters, but I don't know if they have the style of jump shot. I shouldn't say style of jump shot, but just the way they shoot the ball in game. I'm not quite certain they have the entire skill repertoire to win this contest. But like I said, in the past, we have seen underdogs come out with the win in these competitions. But most of the time, we see some of the best shooters, pure shooters, come out with the win. So that's why I'm going with Mr. Damian Lillard. Give me what? Did he win last year? So what? 2-time champion? At least 2-time champion. I think he wants to win again.
A lot of this is also like who's hot, who gets hot. Because like again, these guys are all high volume shooters. Cade could get hot. Darius Garland could get hot. They could go on a run. But for me, I think you got to roll with I agree, Seamus, with the top of just like you look at the style of shots they're taking, a majority of them. Majority of these shots, I guess Dame is a little different. Dame's an off the dribble shooter, but he's also just a pure shooter where you've seen him in this contest before. So it'll be interesting. It'll be interesting to see.